Hello, and welcome back to the second half of day one of Wisdom 2.0. We have a full day, Friday and Saturday, and we're so glad you could make it. We hope you had a lovely break. We are just waiting a few minutes for Byron Katie, who's our next speaker, to get connected. We were just talking to her in the green room, and she's kind of on her way here and clicking, getting the right links and the right passwords and the right entrance into this particular Zoom link. So she should be here in a moment. But before we begin, I thought I would just invite us all to take a moment to check in and just kind of see what's happening in our internal world. I know we're looking at screens a lot today. And so I just want to invite you to sit in a way that's somewhat upright and relaxed. And invite you to let your eyes close or just kind of lower your gaze. And see if you can begin to tune into your body and into your breath. So as you bring your awareness from the external world and external stimuli into the internal world, see what you notice as you bring that in your attention inward. And can you feel the flow or the rhythm of your breath in your body? Let's see if you can attune your awareness with that rhythm or that flow of the breath. Not trying to change or control the breath, but allowing your attention kind of attune to the pattern and the experience of breathing in your body. Not needing to change anything or fix anything or control anything. Allowing your awareness to be in touch with your breathing. Noticing how one breath naturally follows the next. Noticing this inhalation followed by the next exhalation. Noticing how it happens all on its own, like waves on an ocean. The breath arises, the breath passes away. Again, as best you can, allowing your awareness and this natural experience of breathing to come into harmony. And as you do, see if you can allow or invite your body to soften, to be at ease. Nothing to control or change or improve. Just meeting yourself and your breath as is. Meeting your body as is. Meeting your heart as is. Meeting your mind just as it is. Inviting a kind of tender presence with yourself. If you notice your awareness start to move away towards the past or to the future, to whatever else is on your list to do today, see if you can very gently and very kindly just allow your breath again to become your home base. Noticing this in-breath, this out-breath. And the next in-breath and the next out-breath. And you can now gently let your eyes open. And we are happy to welcome Katie to the stage. Michelle, I'll just run with it if that's all right. Katie, we usually give you an introduction, but you need no introduction. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, hi, Soren. It's such a privilege to be here. I love what you do, as you know.
Wonderful. So when we were talking backstage, we had the introduction we were going to do for you. You had said, just keep it simple. All I do is help people see, and we can paraphrase, but help people see the cause of all suffering. And
to identify and question the cause of all the suffering in the world. And of course, the world is inside of us. It's as we see it and believe it to be, literally.
Right. Right. And that makes all of us look at our thoughts. And I'm curious, this last year, a lot of us have had a lot of thoughts. We've had a lot of frustrations. This is not the world that I had planned. 2020 did not go how I had hoped it was going to go. I don't like this. I don't like that. What have you noticed and I know you've been doing At Home with Byron Katie, regularly working with people. What are some of the main sufferings that you've noticed over this last year working with people, and how have you tried to guide them to be free of that suffering?
Oh, the adjustment is huge. People are gaining weight. They're striking out at their partners. They're snapping at their children more than usual, and feel cornered, helpless, and it's not fair attitude. And then some people are using it to great advantage to get still in. Why can't I be happy from here? And so that's my favorite, because I've shown the answer of why can't I be happy here? And the answer is so simple that I almost missed it. It was so simple.
So what's the difference between those two paths? So there's one path where the pain, the difficulty becomes a source of incredible suffering. And then there's the other path where the difficulty actually becomes a path of growth. And how are you helping navigate people in that direction?
Well, I have I have a life of inquiry, self-inquiry, and people who kind of get the hang of that, where it's kind of living in their heads as a part of a way of thinking. It's a practice. Or finding, we can say finding happiness or finding a way out of that suffering, but really it's, we're finding a way of understanding the cause of all my suffering, cause of all the suffering in the world. For example, like if I, let's say I have the thought, they don't care about me, they don't like me, they talk smack about all of that, then I'm also witnessing them in my mind's eye from the past.
Yeah.
From the apparent past. It's like the ego at work. It's really good. The movie's playing of the not now past. And then there's a dialogue that attaches to it, and the two create the world of belief, the false I. And then that to live has to transpose as a future, like it's going to happen again in the future. And then the past, they said this and they said that. And in the future, it's going to ruin my reputation. All of this, it's it is unreal. And I love pointing people to, if I had breakfast with Stephen this morning. It was so good, but I ate too much. So now, that's the past.
Yeah.
Now, dinner tonight, I'm going to have to cut down, so that's the future. Okay. So who am I? What am I? What am I? What am I? So is that me at breakfast in my mind's eye? Probably those of you sitting this with Soren and me could see those images of me at breakfast, and you've never been to my kitchen. And dinner the same, and think of a banana right now, or don't think of a lemon. You just saw both. So there I am at breakfast. Yes, I can swear to it, Soren. We had breakfast. We had breakfast. Okay, so who am I? I'm the woman at breakfast. I see me. Who am I? What am I? I'm the woman at dinner tonight. I see it. I've got it planned. I know. So who am I? What am I? I can't be three.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even know it was breakfast in my mind's eye if I didn't see imagination behind it that holds identity in place.
Mhm.
So who am I? Not that. That's one. Dinner tonight, that's two. And all the past breakfasts and dinners that enforce that. So who am I? Right here, right now. Why am I lonely? I'm not present. I want to tell you about breakfast. I want to tell you about Stephen. I want to tell you, really, I'm living out of a dream. That's what's meant by life is a dream. I'm a dream. I'm dreaming me. But am I responsible for it? No. You know, the expression of false images, that is not I.
Yeah.
That is not I. There can't be three of me. I've got to make a choice. Okay, who am I without that? To get present and find out it's a whole other world. It's a whole other world. It's where I can deal with life, and it's where inspiration lives, not breakfast and dinner. That's fine, but to be awake to it is where, you know, people sitting in Wisdom 2.0, inspired, what they have created, what so many of you have created. Look at the moment you did it. You were inspired, and we take credit for it. Like, I brought the work to the world. No, can't take credit for it. It was a happening. It was a happening. I can't claim it. But it shifted something because I set in the practice that I was shown. And life is a practice. You know, I refer to Earth, to the practice as Earth School. We have a practice, knowing the difference between what is valid and what isn't. Where are we the happiest? When we're inspired, where wisdom is allowed to live, and what we're thinking and believing doesn't, all that weight on top of it that keeps it below is the ego's area. So when we identify and question that moves us from presence, that we all hold equal knowledge in. Once we see it, it's like, duh. But to question everything that keeps us from being aware of what lies under that is self-inquiry. We identify it, we question it, and it's just, you know, it's a practice in stillness and a life of inquiry. You know, an unquestioned life isn't worth living. That wasn't original with me. It was someone.
And what I know, a lot of people, they feel like I love that idea of living in the present moment. And when I go away, my mind is just constantly like, when I go to sleep, I go out in the woods, I'm not seeing the trees. Like, all I hear is my thoughts. And I have so many thoughts. Which ones do I question? Like, if I question all of them, they're just kind of like tumbling in. And I feel like I live in this kind of prison of my ideas and thoughts. How do you navigate from the idea of it into the practice?
I have on my website, I have what I call a judge your neighbor worksheet, like a judge the world worksheet. I call it the judge your neighbor worksheet. Free, anyone can download it. And there are 6 questions on it. So you think of a situation where you were not, you know, like I was in an argument with so-and-so yesterday over lunch, okay? So that keeps coming back. And what I said and did brings a package with it. Guilt. So I love guilt because it shows me unfinished business. I need to go back to that lunch in my mind's eye. And there are 6 questions on that Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And I just fill them in. And filling it in, just those 6 questions, short, simple sentence, 6 questions, is a practice in stillness in itself. Because it's not a little thing. We are identifying the thoughts that we were thinking and believing in that situation that were the cause of my suffering. And I suffer if I attack you in any way, even if you die and you're just living in my head, which is the only thing possible anyway, until I get that settled, you know, it's you're going to live.
I think part of our identity, though, is built on who we oppose, right? I'm not that. I'm not them. I'm much better than them. Those Biden supporters, those Trump supporters, those whatever supporters. I am different. I'm a spiritual person. They're not a spiritual person, right? So a lot of that, I'm not that. I am this. Is our whole society is kind of built on this.
What you said was, I am. I am. I am. I am. I am. I know mind. I know. And it keeps us from listening. Mm-hmm. It keeps us from being connected. It's the ego's work. And I see the ego as a terrified child. If you're nothing, mind is nothing. You can't touch it. It's not object. So if I am nothing, I can't rest. Mm-hmm. I've got to own it all. Past, future, past, future, past, future. Mm-hmm. And if you want a little fear and terror, get a future. You want a little shame and guilt, get a past. But if I am at war with you in life, you hit my head. And when I think of you, you're living in me, that you, I believe you to be, are living in me. So there's no peace until until I make peace with it. And I don't know how to make peace with it other than my authentic self. Meeting these 4 questions and sitting in stillness and
not positive, not making it a positive thinking experiment, but making it an inquiry experiment. Right?
Yeah, because, you know, I love you. Well, what's that about? Me. I love you. You know, if someone says, I love you, Byron Katie, I think, wow, that is fabulous. They're in an amazing state of mind. And I'm getting the credit. So the world is really who it's what we believe it to be. It's not ever going to be any more or less than that.
And how do you look at, when you look at things that are happening in the external world that are clearly violent or clearly hurtful in the world, or creating suffering in the world, whether it's climate or whether it's a social issue in society? Do you feel like if we begin to question that, then we know more better how to act?
Oh, absolutely. You know, otherwise we're using chaos and fear to solve problems. We do better when we're clear. You know, those inspired moments, we can live a life of inspiration when we're not at war with ourselves and the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do better. We can do better. You know, we don't. Stillness is not just to get rid of all of our depression and anger. We are beautiful. And when I say we are beautiful, I am speaking of mind. Beautiful mind. Anytime we oppose it, we could refer to it as our true nature. And anything we think or believe or do, which all comes out of what we're thinking, anything we do, we think that doesn't match our true nature, it's going to feel like guilt. And guilt it's like the breeding ground for addiction, which is a whole other path. Ego trick.
And how do you know whether that is, you are connected to your true nature? Is it a bodily experience for you? Is it something that you attune to and you know when it's off? Or if somebody's out there and they're like, well, I would love to be connected to my true nature. Like how is that, how can we kind of use that as a home base more often? Because I think people would love to have that as an anchor.
So what is it like for me? Connection. You are me. So it's gosh, that sounds like such a you are who I believe you to be. So I'm connected. I'm connected because I'm not judging you. That is a state of grace. And that's what this practice has brought me.
Yeah.
I can listen without judging you. And what I mean by that, Soren, is as you're talking, I'm not, well, he means this and he really means that. And he said this and he said, in that I can't hear you. So
Yeah.
I'm trusting to listen without putting anything on it. And inquiry has given me that kind of stillness. So this I'm full of, but you and me are precious.
Yeah.
You are my source.
And when you see your kids and you see your husband and you see the people in your life, do you see them as if you're seeing them for the first time? Do you see them as if they're just this mysterious being when you're in that place?
I know them by heart. I know them by heart. It's like I can see, like I'm with my children, my grandchildren, and I can see those images of the past in our head, and I can see the images of the future where we're going. It's just that I don't believe it. I'm awake. I'm awake. It's like if you go into a movie, you sit there, and it's the movie is amazing. You cry in it, you laugh in it. Well, that's all I'm talking about. Life is an illusion. It's a movie. So to question what I'm thinking and believing in the present that would lead me to see my children or grandchildren very disrespectful to see in the past and think the real. I can't, when I'm hugging, when I am experiencing, I want who they are now.
Yeah.
Not who they've been, not who they're going to be. That is love without condition.
And they don't have to be a reflection of you or yours, whatever.
They just don't put me to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm awake to the dream until I'm not. And it's Earth School. So
And so when you talk about the healing of all suffering in the world, or in the thoughts, what you're really saying is, if we don't question our thoughts, if we don't have inquiry into our thoughts, we are inevitably going to act out all kinds of pain and needless suffering that we don't need to. And if we take a moment to question those thoughts, and I know you have various ways to do that on the work on the homepage, that's where we begin to unhook, and that's where presence can actually show up. Because as long as the thoughts are controlling us, there's no presence.
I can't do it with a mental thing. I can't figure the work out.
Yeah.
It's stillness, self-inquiry, to get still, like they hurt my feelings. Okay, so I'm in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to identify what I was thinking and believing in that past situation, and I'm going to fill in the answers to those 6 questions, and then I'm going to meditate in them, get still in them. It's a practice. It's a practice. It's a practice. And it's not something that an intellectual mind can. We go beyond it, because the intellectual mind, what value does it have if we're destroying our planet?
Right. Right.
Or fighting over a trademark. I mean, what?
Right.
I'm not saying these things are right or wrong. It's just that it hurts us.
Yeah.
It hurts us. To hurt me or to think ill of you hurts me. So to hurt me is I am the poison in this planet.
And it comes from not, I'm putting words, but it comes from not knowing who we are. That if we know who we are.
Because we don't. Just because I think I'm a woman sitting here doesn't mean it's true. It's like, duh, I believe what I think. So I need to write that down and play with it. Those 4 questions.
Yeah.
The world can say, you're a woman and your name is Byron Katie. Just don't ask me if that's my experience.
Right.
I've taken it to another level, and I haven't done anything that any of us can't do.
Yeah. And it seems like the guidepost that you're asking people to explore, which is anything that takes us away from being fully present with curiosity and love, needs to be explored. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm walking through the house and there's a bunch of dishes in the sink, and it's not fair. I did them the last 3 times, and who would I be without my story? It's like, what do I do with my life? Just do the dishes. That's it. That's all that's required now. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, just do that. I'm following.
And when you see Stephen or whoever you live with and you want to address that, you address that in that moment without carrying the story around with you before that.
Within myself.
You address it within yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. But what makes you from doing the dishes? What if you don't want to do the dishes every day?
Then, you know, I just am honest about it. Sweetheart, I don't want to do the dishes again. If I change my mind, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And I don't,
Yeah.
or I do. But I'm making the decision. It's all about me. If I don't want a sink full of dirty dishes, I do it for me. He might appreciate it. He might think it has something to do with him. No, this is my life. I'm following. I'm giving. I'm loving. When I'm true to myself, people benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're living aligned and you know where the source, it's not about somebody else. When you're living aligned and you know where the source of your happiness and your pain is, you're on a better track, and you can actually
emotions will let you know when you're off. Yeah. And going for that chocolate thing in the chocolate drawer will let you know on the drawer.
And so how do you mean when you go, let's say we all go to the chocolate drawer, particularly probably this last year, we've all gone to the chocolate drawer.
We've gone to the chocolate drawer.
Do you encourage people to go to the chocolate drawer? Do you encourage them not, or do you just encourage them to explore what are the stories in their mind that chocolate is going to bring them?
Go to the chocolate drawer or not. It's like, what are you thinking and believing? If you feel any guilt around it, identify your thoughts, write them down, but not with the motive of some chocolate diet.
Yeah.
Or the love of truth. It doesn't matter what symbol we use. It is, what am I thinking and believing in those moments of guilt. Now, for people who are new to inquiry, judge someone else, judge them, him or her. Those people, don't go for the chocolate. The motives are just too heavy for the ego. It's just, it's for beginners. It's a deadly practice. It kills everything that isn't. Everything that is unlike itself, our nature.
Yeah. And do you feel that anytime we feel, there's a difference maybe between remorse and guilt? So because you said anytime we feel guilt, there's a story that we're telling ourselves. Can you talk a little bit about remorse? Well, I wished I hadn't done that. I wished I hadn't done something to hurt somebody, and I feel bad because it just doesn't feel like the natural expression of who I am.
And we're not really hurting ourselves. There's no controlling this. We've tried that. It's the truth that sets us free. Now, remorse would be like if I said something or did something that wasn't authentic for me.
Okay.
And someone called me on it. Yeah. And I attacked them with the how dare you attitude, or just a little punishing, like, yeah, well, just what if the slightest little thing can feel like a slap? Yeah. And I don't like me when that happens. And that's where addiction, we feel remorse, we this, we that, we feel guilty. Then all of a sudden that chocolate hits our head. Yeah. And so everything can live in us, and that appeases. I can say it that way. And it just lives in me as a memory. It's creating identity, and it's just stacking. It's just stacking, just like cementing itself into I am guilty. I am eating chocolate. I promise myself guilt.
Right. Either I'm a great person or I'm a horrible person, but I'm somewhere on the spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah. So, my goodness, just to judge someone, just the most trivial thing can be more powerful than what you think the big thing is, as we fill in a worksheet. that little trivial thing, we're not so attached to it, can blow one's mind if they have a practice in stillness, or even if you don't. We can answer when we sit with ourselves. We can dare courageously to find in that stillness our authentic truth as we sit in these questions. And it is alone work.
Wonderful.
Even when
Thank you, Katie.
it's alone work.
Thank you, Katie. And when the worksheets that you talked about can be found at the work
Oh, yeah.
website, and there's a lot of free things, and I know you're doing Byron Katie at home.
Yeah.
It's so good to have you. It's so good to feel your spirit and your inquiry and your life's devotion to creating less suffering in the world. And
I just love so much catching up with you, Soren. It's like this is where we can catch up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We'll find other ways to catch up, but it's lovely to have you.
Yeah.
To bring your heart and your spirit here.
Michelle, Soren, thank you for the privilege.
Take care. Thank you so much.